At Direct Service Garage Doors, we are your one-stop shop for all things garage door. From garage door repair and broken spring replacement to new garage doors and openers, we do it all. We're proud to be among the highest-rated local garage door companies in all of Central Arkansas. Our highly trained technicians are available 24 hours a day at no extra cost to you. So if you have an emergency, call us today, 501-244-3667, or visit our website at directserviceoverhead.com. Don't wait days. We'll fix it now.
All right, welcome everybody. Let's get this thing kicked off. 3, 2, 1. Yo. Disappointing finish. I said it. I said it yesterday. I said it in Discord. Arkansas they just can't win these games. They just can't. They don't know how to win these games yet. They couldn't do it against teams you feel like they're better than, and yet again, here we are. Arkansas loses another one in the final few minutes of a game. I'm not going to get into the officiating side of it. Everyone's putting this all on officiating, and I'm sorry if you're putting it all on officiating. I think you might want to rewatch the game. We've gotten into this habit, and because there is a level of truth to it, there is absolutely a level of truth to it, that the Razorbacks, game in and game out, struggle with fouling, and a lot of the times, and they talked about it on the broadcast, they talked about it on television, there's preemptive whistles. And that's not okay. That's something that the NCAA needs to check in on. They need to figure this out. But I'm not going to put this. It's not on officiating. Did it play a role? Of course it did. We all know that. Anyone that denies that also they've got some blinders on. Or they're Baylor fans, or Mizzou fans. But Arkansas, with the turnovers tonight, not knocking down what opportunities they had at the free throw line, which was not very many. A lot of issues. I thought their perimeter defense was fantastic tonight. Today. I thought their perimeter defense was fantastic. We'll get caught up on chat here in just a second. Let's talk about our sponsors, Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company. They're busy. They are swamped this time of year. But, hey, get on that list. Maybe you want some work done on your garage door, or maybe you want to replace it. Give them a call, 501-244-3667. Better than best results, quality parts, free estimates, and affordable outcomes, all for you. Available for you at Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company. Apex Tattoo Studio. We've discussed this, and I'll talk about it for a while, at least until the summer probably. But they have moved locations. They are now at 201 South 19th Street in Rogers, Arkansas. Suite P. It's Apex Tattoo Studios. Walk-ins are welcome. They're offering $1,000 tap-out sessions. Mention Tuss Talk with Ty, and you get that discount. If you're up here in the NWA area and you want to get some ink done, hit up Apex Tattoo Studio. And then, of course, the Odd Soul right here in downtown Springdale on Emma Street, craft bar and pizzeria. They've got all kinds of stuff, the IPAs, the local stuff. It's fantastic. The pies, I swear they're some of the best pies you've had around here, and they do a good job. The staff there is very welcoming, very friendly, good people over at the Odd Soul. All right. Let's get we need to do a poll. I didn't get a poll started up. Remember also, like, share, subscribe. Don't take your anger out on your boy. Don't take it out on your boy. All right? At least do me a favor. Like and share. And if you're new here, subscribe, of course. What kind of poll should we do? Let's figure this one out really quick. Start a poll. Did this game, I don't know how to put this in question form. Did this game do anything for you as a fan? Or if there's anyone, I know there's some people that, some independent creators that are often in our chats. Maybe you've talked about it on your whatever you're doing, podcast or whatever, YouTube. Did this game do anything for you to make you feel better about the Razorbacks moving forward? Did this game make you feel, I know it was a loss, it was a tough one. we have to consider that Arkansas just went on the road against a good, maybe top 3 Big 12 basketball team, went toe-to-toe, and you can argue probably could have won this game. You know, I heard someone say last week that Baylor probably wins this game 7 times out of 10. I don't think so. I thought Arkansas, they found the right matchup. We saw Jalen Graham get a lot of playing time using his length down around the rim. Arkansas playing pretty aggressive around the rim, playing pretty well around the iron. And then not only that, just the matchups on these guards. I talked about it last week. There's a mismatch here between the guards. Their guards didn't completely take this thing over. So did this game, how do we put this in poll form? Does this game make you feel any better about the rest of the season? I don't know. You could take that however you want. There you go. Now, I know some people are going to say, well, no, Ty, we lost. We lost, damn it. Of course not. But, again, I think Arkansas, they played with these guys toe-to-toe. The final few minutes, they don't know how to win these games on the road. And I would argue they've struggled at home winning these close games. And I talked about it in Discord. Final 4 minutes, man. It's their kryptonite. It is absolutely their kryptonite. Let me scroll up here. Aaron Harbison says, not all on officiating, but when Walsh got those back-to-back yeah, okay. I mean, I hear you. You're not wrong. It was like 2 quick fouls. It was, I think at one point Arkansas had 6 fouls in a row, and two of those I believe were on Walsh. And of course, he ended up with 4, and he has, it affected the rest of the game. I don't know what to say anymore. Walsh is just not given the benefit of the doubt. Arkansas is not given the benefit of the doubt. I thought this game was called differently on each end of the floor. Around the iron, around the rim. I thought it was called dramatically different. I thought Arkansas could drive the lane, probably should have had a couple more, maybe an and one in there. Definitely should have been some contact fouls. Didn't get them. And then on the other end of the floor, you couldn't look at a guy without getting called. I mean, again, you go back to Walsh, you go back to one of the twins, either one. That's been the thing that I've noticed the most is that on both ends of the floor, they'll call it, I think, somewhat pretty evenly in the middle of the floor. You know, the obvious contact open floor calls, but around the iron, it's just different, and I really don't understand that. I don't know if that's – I would love it if Musselman could touch on that a little bit, just his thoughts on why it's just so much different for Arkansas to draw fouls on the offensive end of the floor for them than it is compared to the opponent. And that's at home or away or neutral floor. I don't know, is that something Arkansas is doing wrong, or is that just the world that we're living in with officiating? I think a lot of it is, I think Musselman has a reputation. I think the Razorbacks, Anthony Black and these guys, they have a reputation for running their mouth and letting things get a little wild, and the officials do kind of step in. See, I said I wasn't going to talk about officiating, and then I went on and talked about officiating. Again, I'm not putting this one on officials. I think the play on the floor, they don't know how to close out games. The turnovers were really bad. I love the assist numbers today. Here we go again. I'm so used to the weeknights. Walsh is a liability offensively a lot of the time. Walsh struggles on the offensive end of the floor, struggles with putbacks. He struggles around the iron. He gets overwhelmed around the rim. I don't know what their plan is for him other than just try to grab rebounds. Like, this guy is he's unreliable on the offensive end of the floor most of the time. Now, you saw him get effective with those little 10-foot floaters and kind of he doesn't have that Devo pull-up jump shot, but he's capable of doing that. I think he's got a high ceiling. We just haven't seen him get close to it. Pinion with that last shot. Yeah, Pinion, it's a freshman moment. I mean, again, it goes back to what I was saying. It's a freshman moment. These guys are young. I'm kind of surprised to an extent that he didn't get a little bit more playing time. I really thought he was going to be someone they relied on, but I think because they hit a couple early threes, because Ricky Council was balling, I think that's why we didn't see Pinion. RC tore it up. They were still doing some things on the offensive end of the floor, especially in the first half. I think they felt like they didn't need Pinion, so that's why we didn't see him. And then you bring him out there for that last play, and to find a way to get him in the corner pocket. That's supposed to be his shot. I guarantee you, in regulation, in the first 20 minutes of a game, or the final, or the up until about the 5 or 4 minute mark, that's probably his shot. Or let's phrase that better. You put him in a situation where the game's on the line. I don't want to say he folded. That's not what happened. He bricked. He looked like he went off the side of the. I don't think he hit rim. Now I had 2 windows up, and I was going back and forth between getting the show set up, and all I saw was the ball deflect. It looked like it went off the backboard, but he missed the shot, and I think normally he makes that shot, or at least it hits the rim, rims out, something like that. Again, the moment was too big for some of these guys in the final minutes, and that has been a reoccurring theme for this team on the road, week in and week out. Now, we'll get to the numbers here in just a second. What does this do for the rest of the year? This game really could have what do you think about the momentum? The switch that this could have had. All of a sudden it's like, wow, we're riding a 3-game winning streak. We beat a quality opponent on the road, a real good opponent who, by the way, might be an Elite Eight. I mean, it's Baylor. They might be a Final Four team. I don't know. Baylor is one of the better Big 12 teams. We know what they're capable of. We know what they did a couple of years ago. Who knows what they do? They're a good basketball team in a really good basketball conference. You win this game, the narrative nationally starts to change a little bit. Like, whoa, wait a minute, hold on. They're on a 3-game win streak. Musselman has this reputation for turning things around. And now you get A&M at home and South Carolina on the road. These seem like 2 winnable games had you been on this 3-game win streak. A&M's going to be tough. I called them a paper tiger. I think I was wrong. A&M, I think, is pretty good. There were a couple of times earlier this year when I watched them a little bit, and I didn't come away very impressed. I think they're starting to play a little bit better basketball. That's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a physical, down-low game. Of course, we'll talk about it on Monday, as this will be a Tuesday, last day of the last game of the month, January 31st, 6 p.m. tip-off. I love that. Aren't we expecting bad weather on Tuesday? Or isn't ice rumored to be in the? I hope not. But I want to see this game go down, man. And this is your opportunity. But you feel like, man, these next 3 games are huge for Arkansas. Like, these next 3 games could decide what happens to the rest of your season. Baylor may have kind of would have been like putting the ice pack on a black eye, right? It would have been like putting the ice pack, putting the raw steak on the black eye that you sustained so far, other than these 2 games that you won in conference play. But now that black eye's starting to swell, and that bully is still just beating your ass. He's beating your face. And now you got to play against an A&M team at home, which can do something for you if you could find a way to beat these guys. You're expected to win at home. I think you can't win. You cannot lose another home game. You just cannot. And the thing is, I think every one of these home games are on the table for Arkansas. Florida's absolutely on the table for Arkansas. Georgia's absolutely on the table for Arkansas. There's not a single home game left that's not. I mean, they're all winnable games. South Carolina on the road, you can't lose that game. But Arkansas on the road overall, they've been atrocious on the road. They don't know how to win on the road. So even that South Carolina game gives you pause for concern. By the way, they've won some games this year that they had no business winning. And you've got to go on the road and hopefully turn that narrative around a little bit against a bad team. Yeah, they cannot lose another home game, and I think they're going to have to find a way to sneak a couple of away games. I really don't know. At this point in the season now, I mean, you're this is the halfway point, and it's like I don't know. I'm not in the minds of these people. Here's what I will say. This game did do more for me in terms of just feeling better about the overall chemistry of this team. Okay, they won 2 straight. Not good opponents. Should have won, I think, 9 times out of 10, I do think they beat Vanderbilt. I don't know about on the road, but I think they do beat Vanderbilt. I think Arkansas's better. I know Vanderbilt's good offensively. They're a really good basketball team. I think Arkansas's better than Vanderbilt. Arkansas's better than Mizzou. You went on the road. That is literally a game that the officials absolutely did cost you. You should have won that game. You beat Ole Miss and LSU. You took care of business. You held, even though it's a bad offensive basketball team, you held Mizzou to 40 points. That's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. I don't care how bad you are at offense. To be held to 40 points is just embarrassing at home, neutral floor, whatever on the road. Arkansas beat those guys by 20 points. They're not a good team. That's why I said when the first time they lost to LSU on the road, it was a big head scratcher. I didn't think LSU was very good at all. We saw that, and we've seen that so far for LSU. That was a confusing and not a good loss. You definitely didn't want to lose that game. But again, it speaks to Arkansas's inability to win on the road. Now, they're going to need some turnaround power here, man. They're going to have to win. I really feel like that the game at Rupp, at Lexington, Kentucky, you've got to find a way to sneak out some wins on the road, or I don't think they make the tournament. Or maybe you win out at home. You win on the road against South Carolina. Maybe you're still in it. I don't know. At this point, I usually I throw my hands up, and I don't know. The last time I felt this way was Musselman's first year, and boy, that was a wild year. Of course, eventually the season would be over with anyways. In the middle of SEC the tournament because COVID ended the season. That team was starting to play a little bit better ball. Even in some losses, they were still starting to play a little bit better ball. You could see the turnaround happening. And then the last 2 years, this is kind of unfamiliar territory. We haven't been here the last couple of years. At this point, the last couple of years, you felt really good about Arkansas. You were talking about seeding. We were talking about, boy, they're going to be, can they make it? Can they break the top 4, top 5 seeding? Can they get there? Top 6 seeding? Can they do it? Right now, we're talking about, can Arkansas even get in this damn thing? It's starting to feel like they may need to have that rush at the end of the year, but the problem is at Bama, at Tennessee, you come home against Kentucky, who even when they're not so good, they always give you a good fight. Boy, a lot of this season really could come down to those final 3 or 4 games. That's not where you want to be. And then it could roll into the SEC tournament. Maybe you could find a way to go on a run in the SEC tournament and prove that you belong. I don't know what this game did for me as far as where I would put them. I would say they're at least a bubble team. Maybe they have moved me up in confidence a little bit. I do like the way they played. I do. I thought they played great, aggressive. They went after those loose balls. I thought overall they did play good against a really good Big 12 opponent. Okay, Baylor's a good team in a really good basketball conference, maybe the best basketball conference, depending on who you talk to. I thought Arkansas went toe-to-toe with these guys. I don't think Baylor wins this game 7 times out of 10, even at home. It feels like 5 out of 10. It feels like a split down the middle, and that's a good sign. And when you look at the way they've played these last 3 or 4 games, despite the second half, I guess Arkansas is just not a second-half team anymore. I don't know. I catch myself saying, well, the final 3-4 minutes, and then I also catch myself saying, well, the first 6 minutes of the second half, it's going to tell us a lot. And yet both times Arkansas struggled. Now, again, officiating did play a role. It is what it is. That's the expectation now. It's the expectation. You're going to have to overcome just really bad officiating. It just kind of is what it is. All opinions fault. I don't know who said that. I don't think anyone. Did someone in chat say that? Because I'm definitely not saying it's all opinions fault. We had a super chat and I missed it. Aaron Harbison. We talked before about if they play a close game, it could be a turning point. Yeah, that is very true. Let me refresh my studio here. YouTube is just not letting me keep up with the chat. Did we have 2 super chats? Well, something's going on with YouTube chat. I'm having a hard time reading it. Announcer saying that Nick Smith won't come back this year is Did he say that? Did he really say that? No, he's coming back. I think that's all but guaranteed. It's just it might be too little, too late. Arky56 is in chat. What's going on, Pops? How many points did Baylor make on Arkansas turnovers? That's a good question. Actually, I'm not sure. I don't have the Arkansas box score, the Razorbacks live stat sheet in front of me. I don't have it open right now. It seemed like several. We will look at the numbers that ESPN provides us. Let's do that really quick before we wander over to Arkansas the stat sheet. Makai Mitchell got the start. Walsh, Black, Council, and Devo Davis all started. Council finally put it together. I mean, what a game by him. 2 assists, a rebound, but 25 points. Only 1 turnover. Only 2 fouls. Of course, that's his nature. He's not a big, heavy foul guy. 25 points for Council. Devo with 16 points. See what I'm saying? When you have these two side-by-side scoring, doing their thing, Devo had a couple of moments, but he's going to always have a couple of those moments, right? He's going to always have a couple of moments in a game where you're scratching your head, what the hell was that, Devo? What are you doing? You're going to give me a heart attack. But then he turns around and he has 4 assists, quietly has 16 points. I say quietly. He finds a way to get to 16 points. He was 2 of 3 at the free throw line, but then the killer, he killed Arkansas with his turnovers. He had 5 turnovers. Arkansas with 15 total turnovers, man. That's just can't do that. Graham with 3. What is with Graham? Am I crazy, or in the final minute and a half or 2, well, maybe final 3 minutes, Graham didn't want the ball. He looked panicked when he had the ball in his hand. Maybe I should go back and watch it. I don't know that I've seen that before from him this year, and not to be fair, he's not been in a lot of situations like this. He looked either intimidated or maybe it was by design. Musselman told him to not have the ball in his hand. I don't know. Again, maybe someone will talk to Muss or ask Muss about it. He looked scared. He looked like, I don't want the ball. There was a couple of moments there, and then I think earlier in the game he kind of did that too, and he ended up turning the ball over. He had 3 turnovers. You had 4 turnovers off your bench and 8 points. Not a lot of productivity off your bench outside of Graham. Graham played well. I'm not saying he didn't play well. Just in the final few minutes, he just looked like he didn't want the ball in his hands. It was really bizarre. But he ended up with 9 rebounds, 4 points, 4 assists, 2 steals. Swore he had a block, but ESPN saying he did not. But that's pretty good productivity. But from a point scoring standpoint, between him and Makai Mitchell, they just had 8 points. Kamani got 3 minutes, no points. Not really a lot of not a lot there. Dunning apparently checked in the game but didn't register a minute. And then Pinion had 3 minutes. We know he was 0 for 1 outside. Arkansas ends up shooting 51%, 27 to 53. Man, you're going to take that. The killer, once again, you shot sub 28 or sub 30%. 4 of 14. I said it on Friday. I feel like this needs to be a game where you knock down 6 or 7 threes. They came close. They were 4 of 14, but they lose the game by how much? They lost the game by 3 points. And then you didn't get a lot of shots at the line. You were 6 of 11, just 54%, but you've got to make those shots. It makes all the world you could argue that their inability to get to the line, which is not all on them, but their inability to knock the shots when they're at the line, that's on them. That is absolutely on them. They went 6 of 11 there, 54%. The disparity in free throws wasn't good. It wasn't good. Talking about the double bonus and getting into all that, it just is what it is, man. I mean, again, I don't know. Listen to Aaron Torres talk about the Missouri-Arkansas game and what he says about officiating in this league. I think he was spot on. I think Aaron Torres was 100% spot on in what he mentioned about officiating, especially in the SEC. Now, this is a little bit different. I think the officials were mixed. I think it was a mixture of officials. I don't really know, but it played a role again tonight. Now, I don't think it played near as big of a role as some other games. I don't think it did. Yeah, there were some bad missed calls. There were some bad calls against Arkansas. Sure, those are going to happen. I don't think this game it wasn't like Missouri on the road. I think, again, you look at those 15 turnovers. Now, I like the assist numbers. You had 1 more assist than turnovers. You had 16 assists, 15 turnovers. Baylor won this game because they were able to knock down some late. They knocked down a late 3. They were 21 of 24, more than double the shots at the line. 21 of 24, they're 80, almost 88%. Now they shot just 33% overall. That's not good. Again, they shot. Arkansas held these guys at 33% outside. I thought there was a mismatch with the guards and their length. But again, it just didn't. And you had some rim outs too early in the game. You had a couple shots that rimmed out for Arkansas. Just when Arkansas needs the ball just to go, when they just need the ball to drop, it just doesn't. And that happens all the time. Putbacks are a struggle for this team. And Baylor found a way. 35 rebounds each. They had 15 to Arkansas's 10 on the offensive rebound. Just looking at that, and then they had 7 steals with just 8 turnovers. That's how you win games. 8 turnovers. That's it. That's a key stat. Compare that to Arkansas almost doubling up on their turnovers with 15. You want to talk about why you lost? Right there's something you could circle. Absolutely. Let's see. Philosophy, whose first part of his name I can't say. Yes, Nick Smith Jr. will join the team soon. Yep. He will be back. I didn't hear the announcer say that. If he said that was I want to know if he knows something we don't. Nick Smith could have easily stayed in California, but he chose to come back. He obviously is planning to play again when he gets out. Yeah. I'm definitely not watching if the Hogs don't make the dance. Got better stuff to do. Oh. Okay. Won't be no March. The cylinder foul, I don't even know what to say about that. Well, yeah. I don't know either, man. Okay, that's all I could say. I just don't want. I try so hard to not. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy to be like, oh, the officials all the time. But that's what we've become. If you watched this show last year, I mean, yeah, we had moments where we certainly went on about officiating because those games did happen and they do exist. I don't feel like I've ever complained about officiating like I have this year. Even going back to before doing anything that I do on YouTube or making these live shows, going back to doing podcast, whatever. I don't know that I have ever I don't know, man. I mean, you've got people like Aaron Torres talking about it. You've got everyone's talking about just how off the officiating has been. I think this is a really bad year, and it could just feel that way because it feels like Arkansas might be getting the short end of the stick there. Maybe this has always been the case at this level of bad. We've always known that officiating, especially in college athletics or college basketball, is really bad. It seems to be worse with these called games in the SEC. I have watched other leagues. I have watched Big Ten basketball. I have watched a little. I haven't as much this year, but I have watched in past years, and I always come away with that was a really well officiated game. There might have been a couple of bad calls. Those always happen. High school, college, pros, that stuff always happens. You're going to have some bad calls in a game. But overall, where the officiating just takes a game over, and that just seems to be far too common. I don't know what that is. Common ref something. I've never heard of the damn cylinder. I've heard of it. I just don't think that was the right call. I mean, he clearly, it looked to me like his head was away and he was going after the ball. It looked to me like he had it was ball. I don't know. I'm so tired. I'm tired of talking about it. I'm so tired of talking about it. And again, I'm not, for anyone coming in late, for anyone who's maybe you've skipped ahead and you've kind of lost track of what we were talking about, you didn't lose this game because of bad officiating. It was definitely a hill that you had to overcome. I think that's probably 80% of called games that SEC teams are a part of. That's a hill a lot of teams, especially road teams. And listen, home cooking's everywhere. That's common. You know, did they get some of that today? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Baylor definitely. And that Arkansas gets it too. Yeah, they do. But more times than not, it just seems it's gotten to a point where we're discussing more about the officials taking games over. That was not this game entirely. I think, again, going back to the turnovers, going back to Baylor, only turning the ball over 8 times, making their key shots at the bottom of the game, towards the end of the game. Arkansas not making what few opportunities they had at the free throw line. They've got to get more consistent at the free throw line. My God, we're not talking enough about that. The shot there at the end, it was just too big of a moment for these young guys. It was just too big of a moment. Pinion, again, I don't know what happened with that ball. I just saw it going the opposite direction. Oh, that's not the net. Damn it. That's a loss. That's why you lost at the end of the, it was just too big of a moment, and they don't know how to close these games out. Come on, Ty, you want to talk about these refs. I'm not, man. I'm not, even though I already have. Let's look at the poll. Does this game make you feel any better about the rest of the season? 56% of you say no. 44% of you say yes. Well, it's a tough one. We had to come up with that poll right on the right as we were here live. If you haven't already, go ahead and vote. We kind of made that one up as we were here, right? I thought, all right, how do you feel about this? It's a tough one because, my God, you've got a tough game at home against Texas A&M. That's going to be a rough game. I think that's going to be a tough game. I'm not saying Arkansas loses. I like the fact that you're at the Bud. I wonder now, speaking from a fan perspective, are fans still going to show up to Bud Walton like they did, when you had, 10, 12,000, when you had however many inches of snow on the ground, and they weren't expecting. I think they said they were shocked they would even have about 5,000 or 6,000 in the building, and they ended up with like 12,000 people or 10, 12,000 people inside Bud. Our fans now, we know Arkansas fans are pretty fickle. Let's just be real. Arkansas fans are fickle. Are they now? Is it just we're ready for baseball? Is that going to be the kind of the narrative for a lot of fans? Is the draw still there? Is the interest still there for fans to show up at Bud Walton or even on the road? Are they just now kind of throwing in the towel? This game kind of feels that way. Even though I think they played really damn good, and I think it does, it at least makes me wonder if they haven't turned the corner despite a loss. We're going to know. We're going to know a lot more in the next couple of weeks. Again, I feel like there's so much pressure on these next two games, A&M and on the road against South Carolina. And then you got to turn around and go back on the road and play inside Rupp. So fortunately, you come home, you have Mississippi State, but then you got to go back on the road and play A&M. Then you have a couple of games at home, Florida and Georgia, that are absolutely on the table. But then you close the year out at Bama, at Tennessee, and hosting Kentucky. It just feels like it might be too little too late, with or without Nick Smith. And that's disappointing. If they do miss, listen, I would say I would probably put them in the bubble at the moment. I think they're in the bubble, but we're going to see how well this team if they bounce back against a pretty tough Texas A&M team. A&M right now 6-1 in conference play, 14-6 overall. I don't know, man. It's gonna be it's gonna be tough from here on out. We got another super chat. Ty, dude, there hasn't been much home cooking for us outside Ole Miss game from my perspective. No, there has been. I hear you, Fish. I know it's easy to think that way, but no, there's absolutely been home cooking for Arkansas. Absolutely there has. May not be to the extent of some other teams. I would agree with that. If you wanted to say, I haven't watched enough other teams at home. I don't know, but listening to what other people have said, listening to other YouTube shows and podcasts, I feel like Arkansas is at the bottom of that poll when you talk about the teams that get the most home court advantage because of home cooking. I definitely believe that they're at the bottom of that poll. They don't get it as much as other teams. Sure. They're not, and I think a lot of that is, again, I do think officials, I'm not going to say they have it out for Musselman, but I think a lot of it is preemptive. Did you see how quick they were on that did you see how quick they were on that technical? To me, and again, tell me if I'm wrong, it felt like it was boom. They hit him with that tech. I kind of feel like it's preemptive stuff. I kind of feel like it's, hey, we're going to call this game. You've got to play at our level. We're going to call this game the way we're going to call it, and you've got to come down to our level. And Arkansas just doesn't. And I think, too, there has to be a discussion about their level because they're too sensitive. And preemptive foul calling or these early calls and trying to jump on these kids early is not good for the league. They've got a problem. SEC games, officiated SEC games are atrocious, and they have a problem. The product on the floor, and again, Aaron Torres talked about this. He made a really good point, and I couldn't agree more. You've got a real problem when you're getting into the 40s, 45s, and fouls called, and beyond that, man, it's just not a good – it doesn't make for entertaining basketball. And, yeah, rules are rules, but let's be real. They don't call those things evenly. And Arkansas fans know that all too well. Roy Davenport with a $10 super chat. Our offense is hurt. They are just fair. I'm surprised we stay this close with all of our injuries. We would not have lost last 3, maybe 4 if everyone was healthy. No cap. Yeah, no. Listen. You can't tell me Trevon Brazile wouldn't have had a major impact in some of these games. Oh my God, could you imagine him tonight? Arkansas was dominating with their length. Imagine Trevon Brazile in that mix, in that rotation. I mean, come on. This totally feels like a game tailor-made for him. Absolutely. I agree. Now I thought both the Mitchells were out tonight, or one of the Mitchells were out tonight. They ended up both playing. Fish says I'm so pissed. That's fair. Listen, man. You have a right to be pissed off. I mean, it absolutely was it's a tough one. It's tough because they were in it. They played till the final second. I mean, and that's what I love about Musselman's teams. I thought he called a great final kind of a minute there. He did everything he could, getting his guys in position to make this a game. Now, the inbounds play where I forgot who it was, who just ran down the floor wide open. I don't know what the hell happened there. But other than that, I think Arkansas did everything within their power to stay in it and to make it a final possession game. And listen, kudos. They fought hard, man. And that's what I love and respect about Muss's teams. I mean, seriously, what more could you ask for? Especially with the injuries, especially with the dealing with officiating, and they still fight, man. And that's why I think tonight I may have put them back in the bubble. I really do. I think I may have. I think I have. I think I've got them at least in the bubble. Again, we'll see what they can do, man. These next 3 games, again, you feel like every game you just can't lose. But, I mean, they're going to lose some more road games until they get that figured out, until they get it figured out how to win in the final 2 minutes of a game, in the final 3 or 4 possessions of a game, in a tight, close game. We've seen them blow leads. We've seen leads get expanded on them in the final 4 minutes. You go to that Alabama game. What was it, the 4.5-minute mark? All of a sudden, Bama just squirts out 9 points in a matter of what felt like an instant. In the time that took Thanos to snap the gauntlet, right? Before the reset. They had 9 quick points. Like, what the hell? What happened? So we've seen breakdowns. We've seen them just break down and the moment be too big for them. Maybe they learned a little bit of something. Maybe the confidence is there. I think it will be. But they cannot lose to A&M at home. And that's what's weird. I feel like maybe they're back up on the saddle a little bit. They took a step in the right direction. It's not as big of a step as we would have liked to have seen, right? It's not that win over a ranked Big 12 opponent on the road. But damn, they played those cats tight, man. But then it could all be blown away if they don't show up against A&M. And again, that's going to be a physical, down low, and that's what gives me pause for concern because we know how these officials are in those kind of games. And boy, does that worry me against A&M. They fought hard. At least we won the first half. Well, they definitely did. They took the lead. And it looked like they were going to blow that lead up. It looked like this thing was going to get stretched out to a double-digit lead. But I'm going to be real with you. I don't even feel comfortable when they've got like a 12, 14-point lead at any point in the second half. I'm never comfortable. Again, I think it's just that youth and the missing of personnel that just comes back and bites them in the ass. I could be wrong, but didn't we have Big 12 officials? I thought it was a mix, Jacob. I could be wrong. I thought it was a mix of maybe it was. I don't know. I don't know who the hell officiated tonight, to be honest. Lenardi moved us to a 9 seed. Lenardi's pretty big on Arkansas. I mean, if he's got him at the 9, I just look at what they have left. And man, I think I've moved them up. But it feels like it could all come down to these next 3 games, and it shouldn't. If you take care of business against 2, then maybe the third team doesn't, if you lose to Kentucky on the road, okay, maybe that doesn't hurt you as much as long as you can turn around and win out at home and find a way to maybe sneak out another road win. You may only need just, one. I don't know. I have a hard time seeing just one road win doing it, and winning out at home. I don't know, man. I don't know. It feels like, though, for sure they cannot lose another game at home. They can't. Had you taken care of business against Alabama at home, had they not been screwed over on the road against Missouri, and they did. Again, I will say that game was you lost that due to horrible officiating. It was like a nightmare. Like, just thinking about that game and the fact that you lost 79-76. And Arkansas is better than Missouri. How much better, I don't know. Maybe they're pretty even. Missouri won today. Did you see that? Let's look at these scores real quick. Let's look at these Big 12 SEC opponent matchups. Scroll down here. Missouri took care of business. They beat Iowa State 78-61. But then you had West Virginia over Auburn, 80-77. Texas Tech over LSU. We talk about a game of 2 not so great opponents. Texas Tech 11-10, LSU 12-9. But Texas Tech took care of business at LSU 76-78. Mississippi State knocked off TCU, man. Now that was at home. But still, I mean, they knocked off TCU. Oklahoma beat the living hell out of Alabama 93-69. I don't know how that happened. Was it a trap game? I don't know. I do not know how they lost. I mean, listen, a close loss on the road, okay, well, whatever. But 93-69. You still got Ole Miss, Oklahoma State playing. Who's the other game? We've got KU and Kentucky coming up. It's here in about an hour. Florida and Kansas State. Kansas State's up 37-16. Texas is getting they're getting dominated 40-28 by Tennessee. So that's your scores around the league at the moment. No doubt it's getting crunch time. It is crunch time. It is absolutely crunch time, Steven. So, all right, that's going to do it. The wife's cooking dinner. Smells really damn good in my house right now. I'm gonna go eat dinner. We're all caught up on what's that show with Harrison Ford, 1923. We're all caught up on that. We're watching this show, The Offer. It's on Paramount Plus. It's about how they made The Godfather with Francis Ford Coppola, who directed it, and it's talking about the producer. Really interesting show. We watched the first episode, but so we'll probably watch that tonight. I don't know. And I don't know. I might stay up late tonight, play some Madden football or something. I don't know. I got to get my mind off this game because that is unfortunate the way this thing ended up. I got to get my mind off of it. What I typically do is I turn off my notifications on YouTube. I kind of back off Discord sometimes, most of the time, that I'm just going to sit and vibe, watch a show with the wife, eat dinner, play some video games, get my mind off of what happened tonight, and then get ready for Monday's show. We have a lot to talk about, especially with Razorback basketball's future this year and talking about this A&M, Texas A&M matchup. So all of Taylor Sheridan's show. Oh, dude, 1883? Is that what it is? That's one of the best damn shows I've ever watched. That was incredible. Yellowstone's really good. We're behind on Yellowstone. We haven't had a chance to watch any of Yellowstone yet. They're all good. He's not made anything bad. Didn't he write and direct or he wrote, what's that movie? It's about like Mexican drug cartels or something. Sicario, is that what it is? I haven't seen that and I want to watch it. I think he wrote that. Pretty sure he wrote that or something. He had something to do with it. It's like everything he's ever done I want to watch, Arkansas needs to control their fouls. And that is the other part that people don't talk about is Arkansas. Yeah, not all fouls are on officials. And there's a habit in our Discord of people doing that. Well, every single foul is on the officiating. No, Arkansas does not. Sometimes they're just not smart. We know they've got active hands. We know they like to they don't mind a little bit of contact, and I agree with that. Gordon is right. Arkansas needs to control their fouls, and it's not always on the officials. So if it takes the tournament for us to make it, then we won't. More than likely, yeah, I can't ever. I mean, look at A&M last year. Yeah, more than likely, if you need the SEC tournament, yeah, you're probably not going to make it unless you do something crazy like win the whole thing. And even then, sometimes it can be a stretch depending on where you're at in your wins and losses and whatnot. Tercer says, I'm not sure what Lenardi is seeing. I don't either. To put him, I don't know. But then again, I have liked what I've seen these last 3 games. I really have. I would argue the last 4 games. There has been a little bit of an adjustment. The problem is they're just missing too many pieces, and Musselman is just, you could tell he's kind of scrambling a little bit. You saw Graham tonight. He got a lot of playing time, but that was mostly because of the matchup factor, and Graham played a big role in that first half. I was really impressed with him using his length. So, all right, I do appreciate you guys. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. If you're new here, check out all the links provided for you down below. We don't have our link people in chat, so I'll share these links really quick. If anybody wants to join our Discord, let me paste this down below. Maybe. There's Discord for anybody who wants to join. If you want to join our Patreon chat is absolutely awesome. We've been on top of stuff lately. So if you want to join Patreon, you want to have access to the hidden Patreon members only page in Discord. You need to go get in on it, okay? So, all right, Pigpen. What's up, Pigpen? How you doing, man? Thanks for being here. All right, I'll see you guys on Monday. Don't know the time. It's probably going to be between 11 and noon when I go live. But I'll see you guys then. Woo pig, and have a good rest of your evening. Try to get this one off your mind. It's going to be hard. I know it's going to be hard, but we can make it. We can do it together. Woo pig. I'll see you on Monday.